Hey guys, hello. Right, sorry, I managed to kick myself out of my own meeting there a second. Sorry, let me just turn this light down. Right, okay, let me find you, Lynsey, because I'm sure you're here. Oh no, maybe you're not here yet. No, it's fine. Good evening, guys. I hope you're all okay and having a good day, enjoying the Monday deals. Right, I can't see Lynsey yet, so we'll just give it a second and then I will start recording. Oh, she's here. She's here. Rebecca's here.
I know. Sorry.
No, you're all right.
I was in disguise. My daughter fiddled about with it and obviously changed it to her name. So I'm always called Rebecca on Zooms. I don't even change it. I'm embarrassed to say.
Oh, don't worry. My Peloton, when I get on it, it still says I'm in Essex, and people are like, "Oh, yeah." I'm like, "No, I'm not in Essex. I don't know how to change it." Right.
I'm in my son's room because it's the only place I can get peace and quiet. So sitting in my oldest boy's room because he's away in Glasgow. So
is it? So you've taken over his bedroom?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, right. Let me spotlighted you there. Okay, it's recording, which I always forget. Well, I don't always forget to do, but we want to make sure I'm doing that. So amazing, right? So welcome to. I won't rattle on for too long, guys. So welcome to Diary. I'm taking them off because they're reflected. Diary of a Scentsy Consultant. I think we're on week 5 or 6 now. And I'm absolutely loving the feedback that we've had, because like I said, this was basically born from a podcast that I listened to, not because of the host, but just because of the whole diverse range of guests that he had on. And while I was listening, I was like, that is so applicable to our business. There's not one type of person that can be successful within Scentsy. The whole, one of the Scentsy core values is authenticity, and it's being authentically who you are. So I wanted to give a whole range of, different consultants, different titles, different backgrounds. And tonight, I am speaking to the lovely superstar director and my lovely friend Lynsey, who has very kindly agreed to come on and speak to us this evening. And with that, I am gonna leave it there, because if I give you too much of an introduction, I'll be talking about your story. So, thank you, Mello, firstly for being here. So I am going to hand over to you, and just before we talk about Scentsy, just tell us a little bit about you, your family, your home life, your children, etc., etc.
Okay, so I am based in a wee place called Morningside, which used to have 9 houses in it, but it's exploded because they've brought new houses. It's a beautiful place. I literally look at my back and I can see deer, there's woods, there's ponds. I absolutely love it. I'm settled here for life. I could literally stay here for life, so I love it. So I am a mother of 3. That's obviously my main job and the most important job. I have Ben, who's 18. Great kid, doesn't give me any bother whatsoever, keeps me sane. I've got Johnny, who his proper name's Luke, but we call him Johnny because as a child he had jaundice, and my brother-in-law called him it, and it just stuck, and he loves being called Johnny. So he's he's a bit of a handful. He's got ADHD and he's amazing though. He's so funny, fantastic wee football player. And then we've got Rebecca, who's almost a teenager, and she is basically me, the young version of me. So she's very hard to parent, but I love her dearly. I really do love her dearly. I'm a bit of a tomboy. I love football. I love martial arts. I love to dance though, which is very, very girly. And obviously, as you know, I'm married to Fraser. We've been together since I was 20. So we will be doing our 20 years anniversary next month, which is absolutely crazy. He is my soulmate, my best friend, but he drives me nuts. And honestly, I couldn't do this business without him. He kind of potters in and out. Sometimes he's all in, sometimes he's not. But do you know what? He's a good guy. He really is a good guy, and he's my backbone, and I just couldn't do it without him. So that's kind of, and I've got a dog as well. I've got a wee dog called Lily Potter because we're Harry Potter daft in this house. So we don't call her Lily Potter just when she's naughty. But yeah, wee Lily is a Malchi. She's sitting here right now. She looks like Tina Turner because she needs a haircut. Lily, come and say hello. Honestly, she's a beautiful wee dog, but she's looking a bit scary. So she's half Chihuahua, half Maltese, but she really is dire need a haircut. Aren't you, darling? A good girl? Yes, she is. So this is Lily.
Oh, so look at
that's a wee bit about my background.
I love it. So I hope you don't mind me bringing this up. I know you wouldn't, but when you said obviously about doing things with your daughter, you're actually doing a dance show together, aren't you?
Yes, that is
Love
correct. So
that.
last year, I think it was maybe September, October time, one of my best friends, Lisa, has danced my whole life. She used to come to my Zumba class, and she kind of nipped my head and said, Lynsey, how do you feel about coming and dancing and being in a show and stuff like that? I was like, oh, I don't know about that. She says, please just come along. And I said, right, okay. So I'm now doing hip hop, which I've never done in my life. I'm 45 years old and I'm doing hip hop every Tuesday night, and I love it. I really, really love it. Get to express yourself. It's completely different. I do jazz and I do lyrical, and in 7 weeks' time, we are going on stage. And on Tuesday night, we got a message from the dance teacher to say, how do you feel about bringing your daughter on stage and doing a wee piece together? So it's a very, very short part of the show, but I think I was very emotional. I thought, what an honour to be able to go and dance on stage with my wee girl. So I'm really, really excited about it. Yes,
Oh,
I'm buzzing.
honestly, when you told me that, like, it like gave me goosebumps, because I'm totally like not. But when I had a little girl, obviously I used to dance as well, and I was like, oh my god, like, we're gonna dance together. Ella, I've got more chance, like, of probably like dancing with Finlay. Do you know what I mean? Ella is not a dancer, so she's totally got her own thing, which I absolutely. But honestly, when you told me that, I was like, oh my god, that's absolutely beautiful. So absolutely love that. Okay, so like I said, Che, I've sent you over the questions, but we'll kind of, I might just jump around with them, which I know you'll be fine. So when did you join Scentsy? Like, what were you doing? Like, how did Scentsy come into your life, and how many years have you been a Scentsy consultant?
Okay, so basically, I was a veterinary nurse for 11 years, qualified, left home. Absolutely loved my job. I really did love my job. But the thing that would really, really kind of play in my mind and upset me was the fact that I couldn't be there for my children all the time. So I did go down to part time, which I thought would help, but it didn't. And after I had Rebecca, my third child, I thought, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to pay somebody to watch my children. I don't want to give people my children over and miss all that precious time. So what happened was I decided to become a Zumba instructor. So I think Rebecca was 6 months old when I started my first class. But if MD is in the kind of fitness industry, you don't make a lot of money. You do not make a lot of money. So you genuinely don't. My classes were busy, but physically it was a lot because I was an older mum, and I was like, I can't do this forever. I loved it. I absolutely loved it, and I did it for 10 years. I was a Zumba instructor. I absolutely loved it, and I did loads of classes, met incredible people, but it just wasn't making enough money. And everybody knows, I think most people know that I'm the same religion as Orville and Heidi. So I'm a Latter-day Saint. It's a huge part of like my life. I look after all the women in the church, in our ward in Motherwell. I'm called Relief Society President, so I kind of look after everybody. And a lady came into our ward called Mary, and she was a Scentsy consultant. I'd never heard of Scentsy before. She introduced me to the products. I decided to have a party. Well, I made my sister have the party because her house was bigger at the time. And I fell in love. I literally fell in love. There was a scent called Amber Road, which is a really old one, 4 years ago. It's a brown coloured wax. And I literally sat with the tester the full night, and I was like, I love this. It's amazing. I also loved coconut lemongrass as well. And she kept saying to me, because I was so passionate about it, we had another party for my mother-in-law, and I was going round with the testers for everybody, and she's going, Lynsey, you can do this. And I'm like, no, I'm not a salesperson. She's like, you can do this. Please just do this. And then basically it was the deciding factor was she was moving to Aberdeen. And she was going to be 4 hours away from where I lived, and I would have to pay a lot of postage. And my sisters were like, Lynsey, join, we'll buy for you. So, Laura, never at any point did I think this was going to be a business. It was literally just to feed my own habit and my family's habit. And that was what made me obviously decide. And she gave me a video because years ago I used to get a wee DVD and a wee pamphlet, and she said, watch that, and there's the video. And I was like, right, okay. And I decided, you know what, let's just do it. So I signed up in 2013. So this year in August will be 10 years since I started Scentsy.
Wow.
Crazy.
And I love that. And I love because, like you said, you went with no expectations. There was no grand plan. You just loved the products.
Yeah, I took a leap of faith. But I did get the feels when I watched the video. I got a bit of the feels, and my sisters were really, really supportive. And they're like, look, just do it. And my mum as well. My mum's like my biggest supporter. She is the best. And she's just like, just do it. You can do this, Lynsey. But there was a lot of doubt. I was having major self-belief issues, but I thought, you know what, see if it doesn't work, it's all right. At least I've tried, and at least I'll be able to get my stuff. So
what was on the DVD? Was it like the Scentsy story? Was it?
Do you know, Laura, I can't even remember. That's so bad that I actually can't. I've got really, really bad brain fog now because I'm at that age. but I don't actually remember. But I just remember it was a very powerful impact.
Yeah.
Had a very powerful impact, and it was very like Scentsy spirit, community, family. I remember that, but I don't
Yeah.
remember like anything else about it.
No,
I think I remember like people sitting down with like testers and smelling them and talking about scents and stuff like that. But apart from that, I don't remember. But I just remember it felt how it felt. It felt good and it felt right.
what it had doesn't matter that you didn't remember the specific content. It had content. It had sense of spirit, and that's what you felt.
Absolutely. And also like I'm one of these people, because I'm religious, I pray about things, and I felt this was the right thing for me. I felt this was the right business for me and this was the right investment for me.
Yeah.
So that was obviously a big factor as well. And I know people on here probably aren't interested maybe about the religious side of it, but that was a big factor, was the fact that obviously, do you know what? I'm going to ask God and I'm going to say to him, like, is this right for me?
Yeah.
And I got, as you say, the feels, do you know what I mean? It felt the right thing to do. So I was like, I'm just going to do this.
And the thing is, I know you just said, oh, you know, people might not be interested about the religion, but that is the importance of like talking to everybody's unique stories. That is part of your story, and you know, you thought, right, that is part of why you joined. So no, that is, thank you for being so honest. Amazing. Okay, so I know you said that you had been a veterinary nurse and obviously been a Zumba instructor. What other, since like leaving school, like what has your kind of career path been?
So I left school when I was 17. My first job was I worked in a pharmacy. Did that for 3 years. I really, really enjoyed my job. Got to meet. I'm from a wee place called New Mains, which is like literally 5 minutes away. I was just at my dad's for his birthday. That's where they live. And I worked up there, so I knew all the locals. So it was a really good job, great for networking, socialise with people every day. I could tell you what doctor you were with, what your address was, what tablets you were on. I could tell you everything. So I know a lot of people and I got to really know the community really well. So that was my first job. And then I was constantly always asking for voluntary in the vets. And eventually a job opportunity came up. And the reason I left there and went into veterinary was I'd asked the pharmacist loads of times if she put me through this dispensing course, and she didn't ever do it. She kept telling me she would and she didn't. So
Yeah.
I felt that was my cue to leave, and obviously I got offered the job in the vets. And then she said to me, would you like to go through your dispensing course? And I said, I'm really sorry, but you've left it too late. I've
Oh,
asked
no.
you how many times. So I worked my first job, I was 3 months, and I met my best friend there. And basically me and her moved on to another place, and we went to the seaside. We went to live at the seaside. So I moved out of home when I was 20, and I went to work in a place called Rock, and I still have fond memories of there. We had so many. We spoke about our dreams and our goals and who we would marry and how many kids we would have, and I've got so many fond memories. And I was a really good vet nurse. I really was. I was a head nurse as well, so I did really, really well. Went to college in Dumfries, did block release, and I've met a couple of people who are now directors, basically from that experience as well. So a few of my vet nursing friends have joined Scentsy as well. One of them is a director. And then after that, as I say, Zumba. After I had my 3 children, Zumba, and then eventually on to Scentsy. And I've done that like solely for 10 years. Full-time job. Took a leap of faith and said, just go. I'm all in.
Let's go all in. This is obviously like going off my questions a little bit, but at what point did Fraser join you in the business?
Okay, so Fraser used to kind of, I don't know, he just didn't get it. He didn't like the stuff. He said coconut lemongrass hurt his teeth, and he's like, just didn't get it. And I used to sit, Laura, honestly, I swear, I used to sit with my wee teamies, 3 years, having a team meeting constantly round my table, thinking about ideas. And I went to my first spring sprint. I know that's what like one of the questions, but we went to an event, went to my first spring sprint, and invested quite a lot of money to go there because it was in Oxford. So I had to basically get accommodation, I had to fly, I had to hire a car. So me and 2 of my teamies went and did this. And I always remember sitting and thinking, wow, I was absolutely like buzzing. I was buzzing. I was like, this is the best thing ever. And I turned round and I seen Joanne Davidson. Obviously, I didn't know who Joanne Davidson was, but I was very drawn to Joanne Davidson. And I seen she was sitting on a table with all her team, and it was her birthday, and there were some birthday banners, and I seen the word director. And I walked up to her, and I know this was God's plan as well. I know I was meant to meet Joanne, but I walked up to her and I said to her, I said, excuse me, I hope you don't mind me asking, but I would absolutely love to know how to become a director. And Joanne's like, I can help you with that. And she just said, just share the opportunity with every single person you meet. She says that's all you need to do, and just keep going and be consistent. And obviously down the line, me and Joanne became really, really great friends. But it was just amazing. And then leading on, obviously, from then, because you asked the question is, when was Fraser all in? So after I came back for spring sprint, I decided that I was going to try and get an incentive trip, and I just went for it. I absolutely went for it. And I literally scraped Greece with the skin of my teeth. I mean, I literally scraped it. I worked out how much I needed in January, and I got people to have parties, and everybody was buying, and it was just amazing. People were trying to help me because they knew, obviously, I was getting really close to this. And then Fraser's like, when I told him, I was like, I've earned a trip, Fraser, for free, all inclusive, everything's paid, and I get some spending money as well. He's like, what? You are kidding me on? So all of a sudden, he really, really changed how he thought about Scentsy. And I think the turning point, Fraser will tell you yourself, if you ever ask Fraser, he'll tell you the story yourself. He was standing with Tony Chaplin in Tenerife. So this was his first trip with me, because obviously the first one I only earned for myself, the second one I earned for myself, and the third trip was Tenerife for both of us. And he was standing on a mountain with Tony Chaplin, and he turned around and says to me, he says, I get this business now. I get this. I see a future in this. He says, and I'm going to be all in. So it was just a moment they had. And then he was saying, like, he says, can guys really, really, can I make an impact with this? Do you know what I mean? Can they? And he's like, I know I can do this. And that was his moment where he's like, I'm going to do this. And Fraser used to own a car garage, Laura. I don't know if you know that, but he owned a car garage. So it was a big thing for us letting all that go. But he was constantly, when people come to buy cars, he was telling them about Scentsy. So they're coming to buy a car, and he's telling them about car bars and warmers and everything, because we had a wee display just that people could walk in and obviously smell some products, and we had catalogues and, what do you call it, business cards and stuff like that. And he would phone me, Lynsey, this woman would like an order. Can you come up and have a chat with her and stuff like that? Eventually he's like, right, we're going to do this. Let's just do it. And he did. And it was scary. It really was scary, kind of having that faith. But see, when you know you need to show up every day, so you put food on your table and pay your bills, you just do it. Do you know what I mean? And that is enough drive in itself and motivation enough to actually do it.
Honestly, I've literally got goosebumps, because we've been friends for a lot of years now. We've spent time together on trips, but I didn't know a lot of that stuff. And like, we have got so many similarities. Like, Dan worked in the motor trade for 20 years. Like, I was a fitness instructor. I didn't know any of that. And also, funny, it was really interesting that you say that, because Mexico, 100%, if you asked Dan the same thing, like, but that was the changing factor. So if any of you are listening to this now and you've got husbands or partners and, you know, you're pushing for incentive trips, like, get them on a trip, because 100%, obviously. So when Dan came to Mexico, obviously you guys are there, and he came home from that trip and he said that I just saw like a light bulb switch on him that week. You know, he said seeing people there in couples, and when he met Hadi Novo, and you know, it was really special. So he said the same. It was like when he actually saw it was real, and he saw people were doing this as their full-time, you know, business. It's it's really life-changing. But yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know he was a car salesman, but I can 100% believe he was a car salesman like that.
I know. I'm sure you can now. But honestly, he used to get so annoyed at me at the beginning, and everybody who's on here will relate with this. If you have a partner or a husband, or but you'll literally sit on your phone so much at the beginning, like constantly on your phone, and he felt, you're taking time away from us, and it really, really got to him. And I said, I promise you it's going to pay off. Please just believe me. Give me some time, give me some patience. And I don't remember who it was, but I remember hearing a training one time, and what he said was, if you allow me to use my phone, he says, I'm going to give you part of my commission at the end of every month. I'll give you, I don't know what the agreement was, but it was something like, I'll give you 10% or 5% or whatever it was, just as a wee thank you for allowing me to work my phone. Do you know what I mean? Because a lot of people just, that's what they see. Maybe the kids see that, or maybe your husband sees that, or your partner, or your friend, or whatever, your mum or your dad, whatever it is, whatever your circumstances are. Some people will just see that Scentsy's taking time away from family, or taking a time away from like your partner, but ultimately you're trying to get to that point where you do have that freedom. Do you know what I mean? For me, that's what it is. It's eventually you will get that freedom. And I don't know about you, Laura, but see, talking about incentives, see, when you go on an incentive, to me that's like a honeymoon. I get to spend time, just me and him, no kids, no stress. And an incentive trip's not about training. It's about you enjoying time with your partner, your friends, and meeting new people, and enjoying new countries and new cultures. So for me, that has been such a blessing in my life, and I have loved every second that we've had on these incentive trips, because it's literally just time for me and him getting to know each other again and enjoy each other's company.
1,000,000%. And I mean, at the moment, like you said, everybody's circumstance is different. Dan, just because Finley's at the age he is, like we can't leave him at the moment, but 100% know that as he gets older and he feels more comfortable staying with family, like we will 100%. And obviously Mexico, we experienced that, but it, like you say, you get that time away, like with your partner, but even if it's the people that you connect with on incentive trips, isn't it? And also, like you just said, the locations that you go to, like I probably wouldn't have booked a cruise for myself, or, you know, maybe not have chosen to go to Norway, or, you know, but you see these wonderful places that you probably wouldn't have particularly maybe gone to if it wasn't for Scentsy. So they're life-changing on so many levels. And I know, like we said, we would digress on this, but obviously when we were in America, you told me about what was your absolute like pinnacle trip. Can you tell us a little bit about that incentive trip?
Africa.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I actually could cry every time I think about it. And still to this day, and I told Heidi this before, I have a jacket in my wardrobe, and it's a camouflage jacket. It's just a waterproof light jacket. And I took that to Africa. And every time I open that cupboard and I see that, try and not look at it, because it literally makes me cry. Honestly, for me, anybody that knows me, I am a huge, huge animal lover. I love animals to bits. I've always had animals in my life, and I wanted to be a zookeeper as a child. So that's my passion for animals. I just love animals. I really, really do. And being able to see animals in their own natural environment, because obviously it's a reserve, but they're roaming about. They eat other animals. I mean, obviously I didn't see any of that, but it's their natural environment. And I always remember when we went to Africa, and the first time I seen a giraffe in the wild, do you know what I mean, in this reserve, and it was miles away, and I burst out crying. And the girl who was our kind of guide, she says to me, "You have no idea like how much you're going to get close to these." She says, "If you're emotional just now, just you wait." And I remember probably one of the most beautiful moments that I had. We got to a point, there's certain parts where they allow you to come out. Okay, so every time you go on a safari, it's different. It might go in the morning or you might go at night, but there's one part of that journey where they'll allow you to go out. So we went to the prairie part, which is the kind of the non-aggressive cats and all that are there. So we get out and we're standing, and they bring out like a wee kind of stool, and they bring out some nuts and juice, and we're sitting just talking away, and the next minute these 3 giraffes come and just walk right by us. And I'm talking literally from here to where my door is, walk right by us, and Fraser was like, wow. And again, like also when we went to the accommodation, the lodge that we went to as well, as soon as I walked in, I just burst out crying, because I go in and there's a wee antelope literally just like right in front of our lodge, and just burst out crying. Honestly, it was the holiday of a lifetime. And I tell them all the time, every time I see Orville, I'm like, we need to go back to Africa, we need to go back to Africa. Because for me, that was a dream come true. That was something that, number one, I could never afforded to do it the way that they'd done us. They treated us like royalty. Honestly, all the stops, everything was just incredible. There's surprises constantly. The giveaways we were given, the experiences, and every safari was different, because you went in the morning, you would see different animals. You went at night, you would see different animals. And it was that, get in the car and think, what am I going to see today? What am I going to see around this corner? What am I going to see around that corner? It was just amazing. And I got a really good chance to meet a lot of the Region 1 and Region 3 consultants, which was really nice. And I've had a bond with a lot of those people. And we've shared ideas. They've come onto my group. I've been onto their group. So like Laura Godwin, for example, and I mean, Rachel Penn's, the list goes on. Wendy, like there was loads and loads of people. Deanie Moorhouse, who took us over to obviously California with her and treated us like royally, because we just clicked. So these trips, as you say, you get to meet people, you get to experience things that you will never ever experience. Like Scentsy do it so well. You'll stay in the best hotels, you'll eat the best food, you will experience things that you will I mean, Eldon's just a genius when it comes to this. Every single detail is just but unbelievable.
Honestly, just talking about it now, and I know obviously Norway was the most recent one, but that on the morning on that ship, when they said, "Oh, it's 8 o'clock in the morning, can you all come up to the deck of the ship?" and they spun the boat around, and it was literally, you couldn't describe how beautiful that scenery was, could you? It was literally like a green screen from a film. So yeah, the incentive trips really are just something else out there. And once you've earned one, there is Emma. I'll never forget that trip. Sorry, guys, I have seen. We will look. I promise you, we will come back to the comments box at the end. But yeah, once you've earned an incentive trip, there's absolutely no way on this earth that you will never not earn another one.
I totally agree with you.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that, as you said, Laura, it's the fact that they take you places that you would probably never go to. Most people in the UK or Scotland or Ireland, they go to places like Spain and Portugal and Cyprus and Gran Canaria. That's what we do. Do you know what I mean? We want the sun. But going to somewhere like Norway, I mean, honestly, the sights we seen were just unbelievable. And I mean, those, is it the Seven Sisters it's called? The waterfalls?
Yeah, the waterfall. Yeah, yeah.
Oh my goodness, we'll never ever forget that. I've had moments, pictures in my heart that will stay there forever and ever and ever. I don't have to look at a picture because I know, like in my head, it's there, and I know that I'll never forget those experiences. It's just amazing, absolutely amazing.
And also, you just talking about that, saying about like certain connections. I remember being on my very first incentive trip on the Mediterranean cruise when I was a star consultant. I didn't really know anybody. I was like massively like a rabbit in headlights. I just got off a family holiday, like the day before and literally got back on a plane and got back. So I was like, there's no way I was missing it. And I was really missing the children. And we were on the top deck and I was crying. And Fraser came over to me and gave me a cuddle and he was like, are you all right? And I was like, yeah, I'm all right. Having a moment. And he was like, you'll be all right. Once you've done this a few times, he's like, you'll be fine.
The first one's tough, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But it's but I honestly believe as well, like if anyone is listening to this, and I know I won't kind of name names, but I know there was a couple of people in my team last time that earned it that didn't come. But honestly, I do feel like that you are showing your children that, and this is obviously just my opinion, but it's okay to like go on those adventures, and it's really like teaching them to like shoot for their dreams as well, because your children are always watching you. So, but I will totally hold my hands up and say I cried on the first trip, and they gave me a big cuddle, and then tried to get me on the wave machine. Right, okay, so obviously we talked about what you did before Scentsy. Are you still teaching Zumba now? I think you do it as a hobby, do you, or not?
No, I do not teach Zumba anymore. I hung up my Zumba shoes last year, which was really sad, but I just felt that it was a bit of an inconvenience. It was getting to the point where I just couldn't give it my all. Just life was a wee bit crazy. When you've got teenagers, things kind of are a wee bit more difficult. So I decided to be a student rather than be obviously a teacher. And it's, as I say, it's been amazing. It's been a fantastic experience, a lot of growth, and I've loved it, and I've met the most incredible people. I've done loads and loads of fundraising over the years, and if somebody wanted me to do a wee bit of Zumba, I can still do it. Do you know what I mean? I can still do it. I've not lost that, but the fact that obviously I've transformed into like a student, I'm really, really enjoying just being taught obviously these new things. I love it, I really do. I do club exercise on a Monday, sometimes a Thursday, and then on Tuesday night I do my hip hop, jazz and lyrical, and I love it. I can't wait to go on the stage. I'm so buzzing.
I love it. And when we do these things at World Tour as well, we can do all the little dancing as
absolutely
well. It's just fit for those things. Okay, so obviously we've talked about trips, but what would you say is, if I said to you, like, what is one of your biggest wow moments in Scentsy? So whether that's a keynote you've been listening to at an event, or a moment that you've just thought, wow, like I'm absolutely in the right place, like this is where I'm meant to be.
Oh, Jings, that's a hard one. I don't know if I wrote this down. Wait a minute.
I think I put, what was your biggest wow moment in Scentsy?
Oh, I don't even know what I wrote for that.
That's right.
I think my proudest moment, I wouldn't say my wow moment, I say my proudest moment, I always remember, and this is a really, really simple wee thing, but I still remember it. I burst out crying. I got a gift from one of my team, and it was a mug, and it said on it, thank you for helping me find my wings. Or I am sure it was, thank you for helping me find my wings. And that was a moment that I thought, do you know what? I've made an impact in somebody's life. I've made a difference in somebody's life. And to me, I will never forget that moment, because that's what I thought. I thought, see, just one person, if I make a difference in one person's life, it's been worth it. And that's what I try to do every day. Just if some say makes a difference to one person, and that's why I get up in the morning. Do you know what I mean? I get up in the morning to think our job allows us to bring joy to our customers, joy to our team. We have that opportunity to tap into that, and that is a blessing to me. The fact that people actually somebody will get something. Do you know what I mean? Something will get something. And sometimes you really doubt yourself. And I did post a thing with Bob Heilig today, and
Yeah.
about people, obviously, you think people are not watching you, and maybe there's only one or two people like on your live or whatever. Do you know what I mean? You can take it personally, but do you know what? There is people watching you. There's always people watching you. So show up for those people. Like, honestly, show up for those people, because you have no idea like what that one person can do, and how many contacts that they've got, and how much they need you every day to show up. So whether you're one of these people that go live every day, or live once a week, or do bingo with your like your VIPs, some people need that. They need that love. They need that service. So you just need to keep showing up, regardless. And another, sorry, when you go, Laura.
No,
sorry.
I was just going to say I 100% agree. So carry on. Yeah.
No, just the other wow moment for me was Shining Star, which just blew my mind away. If anybody was there, I was sitting at the very, very back of the hall. I had my shoes off, I had bare feet.
Did you?
I did. I had bare feet, very, very back of the hall. And I was sitting, and that was the year that Orville and Heidi were not there, because their daughter was getting married, Mary was getting married. So it was on the big screen, and we'd literally just watched the video of Alice Kalikimoko. They just told us they changed the name of the award, and obviously they'd showed us the American version. So I was in tears. I was sitting there in tears, because it was so emotional. Obviously, like, Heidi was crying, and then all of a sudden, Orville and Heidi pops up, and they just said the words. This year's recipient for the Alice Kalikimoko Shining Star is, and they said my name. And I still have got to agree again.
I know.
Every single time I think of that moment, I think, who voted for me? Do you know what I mean? Like, who voted for me? And it was one of those moments that I thought, somebody actually thinks that I'm worthy of this award. And I know Joanne Davison voted for me, but see the fact that people actually believed that I was worthy of that. I couldn't believe it. It literally blew my mind. She was like, Lynsey, you need to go up and get this award. I can't. I literally just sat and sobbed.
Get your shoes on. Come on, love. Get your shoes on.
I did actually go up my bare feet to get my awards. You see my pictures? I've got my bare feet. Honestly, I'm standing there in my bare feet. Jeans on, black top, plain black top.
Oh, I love that.
My pictures are a mess. The photographer said to me when he took my picture, whenever I got my, my picture done, see how you get a professional picture, Lisa was looking gorgeous. Do you know what I mean? When she got hers done, I was a riot. My eyes were...
Don't worry, I was outside my front door with a minging grey vest on and no makeup, because I was at home.
Well, honestly, the photographer's words to me was, smile hen. That's what he said to me.
Yeah.
Smile hen.
Oh,
well, Lisa, you still looked good, even if you were clean.
Beautiful.
Aye. So that was a wow moment for me, because I thought, I've made a difference. Somebody actually thinks that I'm worthy of this award. It did blow my mind, and it still blows my mind to this day. I can't watch the video because I just cry every time I see it.
You are so deserving. Like, I don't think you realise how much you make an impact. Like, you just massively do. Like, you've just got such an energy around you. Like, honestly, it's just amazing. You impact so many. Like, you really, like, 100%. Like, you absolutely do. Honestly, just amazing. Okay, so over your nearly 10 years, you've been to a lot of events and listened to a lot of trainings, no doubt. Are there any particular, whether that's an in-person event, an online training, or even like something on YouTube that, you know, that really stands out that you would say to a consultant, right, you need to go and watch this training or listen to this training?
Okay, I had in my mind that I was going to say for this, but I've just thought another one that was really, really impactful. It was called The Lollipop Story, and it was a TED Talk. And it was probably one of the most influential thing. It was nothing to do with Scentsy. It was nothing to do with network marketing. It was just a TED Talk about lollipops, okay? And it was about hopefully I'll do this justice and remember it, but it was about this lady who was going to university, and she was really, really nervous, and she said to her mum and dad, I don't think this is for me. I don't think this is what I want to do. And then her mum and dad said, look, let's just go to the open day and see what we think. So she went to the open day to see what she thought, and she got there and she went, I can't do this. I just can't do this. I don't feel this is right for me, mum. And all of a sudden, the doors opened to the university, and this guy walks out with a bucket of lollipops, and he's just got the biggest smile on his face, and he's walking up to everybody, and he walks right up to this girl, and he basically pulls out a lollipop and he gives it to the guy next to her, and he asks the guy, obviously, to give it to this girl, and what is it the parents said? oh, thanks for being really kind. And he's like, no, you've just given, you've just allowed your daughter to take candy from a stranger or something like that. So the girl just burst out laughing. And basically years later, so 4 years later, she comes back to this guy, the lollipop guy, and says to him, you don't know me. He says, but the first day that I came for an open day, you came up to me with lollipops. He says, she says, I was really nervous. I wanted to walk home. She says, and you put a smile on your face and you obviously produced this joke and this lollipop. She says, let me tell you, she says, because of you, that moment in time, she says, I decided to come to this campus. She says, 4 years later, she says, I've graduated. She says, the guy that gave me the lollipop is now my partner. She says, so those wee moments, those lollipop moments that we have in our business, those moments that can change everything. When you drop a wee surprise thing at somebody's doorstep, do you know what I mean? That's a lollipop moment. When you reach out to a teammate and send them a voicemail, just tell them you're thinking about them, that's a lollipop moment. People will always remember how you made them feel. And to me, that was probably the biggest thing that I've ever, it just literally gave me goosebumps and blew my mind. I loved it so much. So I would say, Laura, that's probably my biggest takeaway.
Do you know what? Even just listening to that, like has literally just given me goosebumps. And actually, that reminds me of a quote that actually Lisa quoted on a training she was doing with Tam last night. Is the Maya Angelou, I think that's how you say her name. Quote,
yes.
People will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. And that is literally so true in our business, isn't it? Like it is those. It's not the big things. Like it's the million small things, and that's why when we talk about consistency as well, it's just about doing those things consistently, and that's when your business will grow on it. And it's about lifting other people. Honestly, that is so simple but so powerful.
No, you need to watch it. It's a TED talk and it's about lollipops. You'll be able to find it, no problem at all. And obviously, I don't do it justice. Like actually listening to the story will make it better for you. But it's amazing. But I'm like, I know loads of people will listen to podcasts, and I do. I mean, I love Bob Heilig. I absolutely love Bob Heilig. I just think he's amazing. But it's not something that I do every single day. I don't have a daily habit that I listen to a podcast. When me and Fraser used to walk, I did. Books as well. I mean, my brain is wired differently for a lot of people. Like I do believe, I've not been diagnosed, but I do believe I've got ADHD. So I find it difficult to finish things. I've always been like that. So one thing that really works for me is music. Works really powerful for me. And also I love movies. And there's 2 movies that I always share with my team that I love. They know obviously 2 movies that I like. Coach Carter is one. It's one of the most influential movies I've ever watched in my life. And my absolute favourite is Patch Adams. And it's all about how one person can make a huge impact in the world when they think about helping others. Okay, and I want to share 2 wee quotes from these because I just love them. And I just think everybody needs to hear these quotes because they're just absolutely fantastic. Has anybody on here not watched Coach Carter?
I haven't watched it.
Oh, you're kidding!
I haven't seen
Laura,
it.
that's your homework.
I need to watch it.
Patch Adams. Have you seen Patch Adams?
Yeah.
With Robin Williams. Oh, I just love it. Absolutely love it. So this is one of the Patch Adams.
She said she falls asleep watching films. I do.
This is a Patch Adams quote. It says, see what no one else sees. See what everyone chooses not to see out of fear, conformity, or laziness. See the whole world anew each day. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. And this is the Coach Carter one. It says, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightening about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine, as children do. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. I'm greeting again.
Oh my God, yeah. Like,
I just love that. I love it. It's just beautiful. And it's the most powerful part of the movie is when that guy says that. And you need to watch it. Everybody needs to watch it. It's beautiful.
And the thing is, that's so important what you just said, because for some people, it will be audiobooks and podcasts that they listen to in their ears when they're walking or cooking or running. And I do that. But for some people, it'll be reading books. For some people, it might be films. For some people, it might be music. For some people, I don't know, it might be writing. It might be writing poetry. Like wherever your inspiration comes from, it's just pouring into yourself so you can pour out to other people, however, or in whatever way, shape or form that looks like. But honestly, that is, I can't believe I've never seen that film. I need to
homework, Laura. Homework.
I watch it during the day so I don't fall asleep.
It's amazing. Honestly, and a song I would love you to listen to as well. Like, it's beautiful. It's called Glorious, and it's by David Archuleta, but the best version is it's one voice choir, I'm sure it's called. It's absolutely beautiful. And if you listen to the words really carefully, it speaks about how everybody has a part in this business, okay? So every single person has a different gift or a different way, obviously, doing their business, just like you spoke about there, how everybody learns differently. Yeah. And how when it all comes together, it creates this absolutely beautiful symphony. So you really need to listen to it. Glorious. David Archuleta originally sung it, but there is a version with the one voice choir, I think it is, and it is just amazing. I love it. It gives me goosebumps. My favourite song. It's beautiful.
Oh, I've just written that down as well. But again, you're so right. Like, music is so powerful. Like, I know I've always referred to it like the song that was at Disneyland in Florida when I was going for SSD, or when I'm running, or like certain songs, and they'll make me run faster because they totally inspire me, and the songs make me think about life and everything else. So and again, this is why it's important to do these type of things and take inspiration from other people, because everyone is unique. But obviously some people are going to go and listen to that now and think, oh my God, that's totally relevant to my life and to my business. Lisa's just said Secretariat is another good movie with a real analogy, and it's a true story. If you haven't seen that, watch it.
Oh, yeah, Secretariat. How you spell it?
I want Katrina, we've watched that a million times in our house. Is that Coach Carter, Katrina? She's nodding. Yeah, amazing. Oh. It's on Disney. It's a Disney film. Love it.
It's the best, honestly. It's the best.
Amazing. I will watch that. Okay, so when it comes to networking, so this is obviously something that we all talk about a lot. We are a network marketing business, and people get really good at doing the marketing, putting a picture up and expecting the orders to come flooding in, which we've not to refer to the last few years that did kind of happen for a while, but obviously anyone that was around pre crazy times knows that you do need to network. You do need to build connections and collections. We have a lot of collections. It's amazing. Connections. What would be your biggest tip when it comes to networking, whether that's in person or online, I guess? But yeah, what would be your biggest networking tip?
Be yourself. Like, be totally real. Don't try and be somebody that you're not. Do you know what I mean? Like, just be really, really honest with your people. And I think just listen. Like, see, when you meet people for the first time, don't make it all about you. Just listen, get to know them. And then when those wee opportunities come, when they want to find out about you, then obviously, eventually you'll drop Scentsy in. And I think I listened to a training the other day. It was in United We Rise. It was, I can't remember the girl's name. That's terrible. It'll come to me. I just can't remember what her name is. Malbury. Oh. Steffi Malbury. That's it. And she was speaking about how her circumstances are, she can only do things online. She decided that, you know what, I can't run across and drop this off and drop that off. And she got to a point where there was devastation. Where she moved, there was a really, really big hurricane, and she had no choice but basically to take it online. And she just speaks about how all she does every day, and I shared it with my team today, is she goes and uses her stories and she shares what she's doing. If she's making samples, if she's changing her wax, like, just show them what you do every single day. Share your passion through your stories, because that's what people are. I don't use stories a lot, Laura. I'm very, very dinosaur. So I don't really use a lot of stories. So I'm going to start using it. And I must admit, I've done it like yesterday and today, and I've put more than one story in one day. I'm like, go me. So I'm going to let people a wee bit like more into kind of getting to know me and things that I do and on a daily basis. To number one, it lets people know that, this is the kind of life of a Scentsy consultant. I'm letting them in a wee bit. This is what I do. But I think with regards to networking as well, is treat your customers like absolute royalty so that they will recommend you to everybody. I did a coaching call today, and I spoke a lot about Scentsy Club and how if you're passionate about it and you share it and you let them know constantly what the perks are, eventually they're going to invest in that. They're going to invest in that subscription, because if it's something, it's like I don't know what your favourite scent is, Laura, but whatever your favourite scent is, I'm sure you sell loads of it because you're always banging on about it
Yeah.
because you think it's absolutely is. Everybody will be the same. Everybody can relate to that. Whatever scent you love, you're going to be sharing it and telling people I'm warming it today. This is how it makes me feel. I've got a memory with blah, blah, blah. That's exactly, obviously, what you need to do. So just share your passion, treat your customers like royalty, be real, and give more than you take. That's my biggest tip that I would give you. Give more than you take to these people that you meet. Show kindness. Like, for example, here's an example. I didn't show kindness today, but I recognised somebody. And what I did was, this is my post today. I said, did you know that sweet pea and vanilla's back? I says, this scent, I says, was introduced to me many years ago with a really good friend, and I tagged the girl in it. And I said, and I had someone join my business because of this scent, because she loved it so much. Now, this girl that I tagged today, she hasn't bought for ages. Tonight, she bought an Angel Wings, even though it's back to full price and it's even more. She bought an Angel Wings and she bought a World Traveller bar from me because I recognised that that was something I connected with that scent. So it
Amazing.
just shows you.
Oh, it's 100%. Yeah, yeah. It's about that connection, and it's about that power of human connection, and connecting with people's emotions is, and
Yeah.
and like you say, and just being real. But I know you said you don't use your stories, but clearly it's not been detrimental to your business, because
No.
obviously at this point. But also that's like evolution, isn't it? Because even when I started like 6 years ago, and obviously you were you're 10 years, stories weren't a thing. Stories
No.
weren't a thing then. So you actually and you still have to like go and actually have conversations. And that was I love that you said that, though, about how be interested in other people, because eventually if you say, oh, what do you do for a living, and they tell you all about their life,
Absolutely.
they're naturally going to say, oh, what do you do,
Absolutely.
and then
Listening is so important. Like really, really listening, especially when it comes to joint conversations. 100%. Just wait for those wee golden nuggets to come, and eventually, obviously, you can put that into the conversation. Definitely. But listening is so important. As I say, always give more than you take. Always, always give more than you take. Every time we have a flash sale, I give all my credit away, and my half prices. Now, I don't ask them. I don't say, if you do this, never. I don't incentivize people, but my customers know now. If they order from like me through the website, I give them a packet to say thank you. I give my host credit away because it's them obviously that have got me those sales. I'm getting commission. I don't need the host credit. I don't need the half prices. So I've always given more than take when it comes to things like that as well.
yeah,
And they remember kindness. They always remember kindness.
100%. Never always remember how you made them feel. Okay, so what was, obviously you talked about the logistics of how you joined Scentsy because your consultant was moving away, but what was like your why when you joined? I know you said you never had any great aspirations to make it a huge business, but what was we talk about our why a lot in this business, and I know that can evolve and change over time, but what was it that you thought, actually, yeah, I'm going to give this a go? What was your why?
You'll love this one because you love this thing. So my why, when we basically used to stay in, it was an ex-council house that we stayed in, and we bought it outright. So all our savings went into basically buying this house. It took us quite a few years, but we got there, and we got to a point where we could enjoy nice holidays and do nice things. But we weren't settled because where we lived, there was no children. And we had 2 children at this point, ready to have 3 children. And we're like, do you know what? I want to go somewhere where I can open my doors and I can let my child play at the front garden. And if their wee friend wants to come in, then we can do that. So that's kind of where we were at. So we loved our house, we loved our neighbours, but we just felt our kids needed other kids to play with. So we decided to buy a new house, and it would basically make us financially quite poor. Okay, so we'd be living in a beautiful house, but we'd have no money. So it's going to be hard. It was going to be hard for a few years. So we decided, you know what, we're going to do without the holidays. We're going to go camping holidays, which we did, and the kids will tell you to this day it's some of their best memories. They just loved it because we were skint. We were absolutely skint. So when I joined Scentsy, I decided, do you know what? My commission, obviously we'd still pay our bills and everything like that, but a lot of my commission is going to be put aside, and I'm going to take my children to Disneyland. I'm going to give them Rebecca had never ever been on a plane. She'd never ever been, obviously, to Disneyland, and that was kind of my why, was to get my children. And I didn't want to just go to Disneyland, Laura. I wanted to stay in a Disney hotel. I wanted to get park tickets. I wanted it to be one of those holidays you will never forget as long as you live. So I joined in 2013, and in 2016 in October, I was able to walk my children into Disneyland and walk up to that castle, and
Oh, God.
everybody knows what it feels. Do you know what I mean? It's amazing. You hear the music, you see obviously the castle, and you just, oh, it's the best feeling in the world. And I was like, I did that. I helped make that magic happen, and my kids will never forget that holiday. It was just amazing, absolutely amazing. So that was my why in the beginning, and that's what pushed me on, because I'm like, I need my kids to get there. I
Yeah.
need them to experience that. So for me, when it's attached to your family, it's just you go for it 100%.
It is. There's no negotiations, is there? And that, you are right, that feeling of walking up Main Street and the castle there, and it is very, very, very special. Oh God. And what is your why now? Like, what gets you up every day and drives you to work your business consistently like you do?
Well, ultimately, I would love to leave a legacy for my children. I want to have a business that I can pass on, obviously, to my kids, and so that they will be financially free. But also, I want a motorhome. I would like a motorhome, because we got a wee shorty Fraser's sisters last year. We took the kids to Alton Towers, we went to Chester, and we loved it. Fraser loved it. I've never seen him so happy, like in a holiday. He just loved driving that thing and stopping in different places, and it was just amazing, absolutely amazing. So that's basically on the bucket list as well. I really would like a motorhome, and I never ever thought I would say that, but we had such a great holiday. It was absolutely fantastic, and I want to be able to make memories again with my children and my grandchildren. And I just think I'd love to go to so many places and
Yeah.
spend with Fraser. Eventually, it will just be me and him.
Yeah.
I don't know how that, but eventually it will. So that's kind of what I'd love to do. But I also, what gets me up every day, Laura, is the fact that I think we can make a difference basically in people's lives. And if I got up for my team every single day, if I got up for my customers every single day, how can I bring joy to their life? Like Bob Heilig says, love, serve, grow. Think you one thing you can do every day to make somebody feel loved. How can you serve somebody every day? And how can you grow as an individual? And that's how I'm a big lover of personal development. So I listen to things all the time. I watch things all the time. So for me, I try and stick by that love, serve, grow. And if you do that every day, your business is going to flourish. Stick to the three core values as well. Your business will flourish. You can't go wrong. You cannot go wrong.
100%. And the thing is, what you've just said about obviously giving more than you take, this business literally is a gift. Like, it is literally a gift you can offer to people, whether, like you say, whether that's in the form of a product or in the opportunity. And if you keep that in your mind, that is going to be, that your business is going to grow. Amazing. Thank you, my love. I've already asked you the next question. What was your proudest moments? Which is obviously Shining Star and your lovely mug, which was absolutely amazing. You've talked about Bob Heilig, and I remember you. Oh God, my brain's gone to sleep. The Inspiration Station. Yeah, I know you arranged for him to come into there, so that will still be in there, guys. So if any of you didn't listen to that, Lynsey arranged an amazing training for him to come in and deliver this. I remember, really weird. I remember being in Norfolk and Dan and I walking the dog and like listening. I had him on my AirPods, and we had one each. And we were both listening to it.
He's amazing.
It was just wonderful. So, but aside from him, are there any other particular like personal development audios or speakers? Because people resonate with different people. People relate to different people. So, is there anybody? I know you've talked about a TED Talk, not necessarily even in the network marketing field, just in the personal development field in general. Is there anybody or any audios or books that you would recommend?
I like, there's a few things that I like, but I love something that's short and sweet. So for me, my go-to always, and I would recommend MD doesn't like reading, Sarah Robbins, Rock Your Network Marketing Business. It's only got 110 pages, and it is so powerful. Honestly, I use it. We do LDU, which is leadership. No, what's it called? Leadership Development University. Yeah. And we use that, and it's basically broken down, and they read it. So a lot of my team have read it and can probably quote from it because they've used it that many times in their business. Yeah. So for me, that's my go-to book, and I would recommend anybody who has not read it, you need to read it. It's an absolutely incredible book. It is so powerful. So I would say that. And I love Mel Robbins. I love Mel Robbins. I had the opportunity to meet Mel Robbins in New York with Scentsy. a few years back, and she is just amazing. So I love her 5 second rule. I think she's absolutely fantastic. So I do listen to her. She swears a wee bit, right enough, but I try not obviously listen to that. I know, but I do. I like Mel Robbins. I think she's a straight talker. She doesn't mince her words. She basically tells you as it is, and I think she's absolutely fantastic. There's quite a few I like. I mean, obviously, I love Region Two's Inspiration Station's fabulous.
Amazing.
Absolutely, there's so many people, obviously including yourself. There's loads of people that inspire me. Like I go in and like I love, like I've got a total girl crush. She's no on. I don't think she's on, but I love see Wendy. I love her. See her
Wendy
backpack.
Howell.
See her
Yeah.
backpack thing. It literally probably one of my favourite trainings I've ever watched. I absolutely love it. Honestly, I just love her. I don't know what it is. I'm just totally drawn to her. I just think she's amazing. So honestly, that training really blew my mind. Absolutely blew my mind. I just think she's fabulous. I
She is.
really, really.
I literally said to her yesterday, she is sunshine in human form.
I
That woman
know.
is a very special human being, and I hope I don't think she's on, but I will tell her to listen to this training. So yeah, she is extremely special. That backpack of life. If
Yes.
you don't know what we're talking about, guys, go and find Wendy's training in the Inspiration Station. Yeah, amazing. Okay, aside from income, and I know you've kind of touched on this a little bit throughout the evening as well, but aside from income, what has Scentsy brought into your life?
It's literally changed my life. Honestly, it really, really has. As I said, like I am not a well-educated person. Okay, I did all right at school, but I just wasn't interested. I was really naughty at school. Like honestly,
No.
I was so bad. I was always at the headmaster's office. Honestly, headmistress. Sorry, no headmaster. So always at the headmistress office. I was really, really naughty. I was always up to things. I was really impulsive. I literally tick every box for ADHD. Honestly, don't know how my mum survived me. I was so bad. But as a teenager, I started to calm down a wee bit, and then I went night clubbing, and I was wild. I was absolutely wild, but no interest really in school. And I did go back to college, and I got obviously qualifications and stuff like that. But I just never felt as if I could find the right thing, Laura, that suited me. And then Sensei came along, and all of a sudden I thought, do you know what? This is what I'm meant to do. And I know, as I said before, God made this happen for me. This was the path, this was the journey that I was supposed to go on. And finally, it's like Cinderella with the glass slipper. It fits. I'm like, finally, I've found something that I feel that I'm actually doing okay. When I started off, I used to beat myself up. I thought I was a terrible leader, but my team love me regardless. Do you know what I mean? And I hope they know that I love them, because that's the one thing I think I'm good at. I think I'm good at loving people. I really, really think I'm good at loving people and making people feel like special in some way, shape, or form. And I adore my team. I absolutely love them. I love when we come together at events. They're just absolutely incredible. I really, really do. And I know they were meant to be in my team for a reason, and I'm grateful for them. Every single person has that light inside them. They've got that gift, and when we all come together, it's just beautiful, and I love it. So Sensei definitely was the right fit for me. 100% the right fit for me. I've been recognised for things. There's been growth. Do you know what I mean? I finally feel that I fit. And I'm doing something that I just love. My mum says to me all the time, "Do you think you'll do this forever, Lynsey?" And I was like, "Yes, I can't see myself doing anything else." I genuinely am so happy. I'm so like, I can see myself in 10 years' time still doing what I'm doing, because I just love it. I really, really do. And I just think I listened to a podcast again today, and it was some people, when they join Sense, you want to tell them everything. You want to pour everything. You say to them, "You've no idea." Like I've got a lady that spends a fortune, and she won't join my team, and I'm like, I just don't get it. I don't understand why
Yeah.
you won't join my team, because it's such a blessing, and see to be a part of that community and feel like the way you feel. And there's people in here that will tell you who work in other jobs, and nobody has ever made them feel like that before, whether it be the NHS or whatever company they work with. Nobody has ever made them feel that special and recognise these small wins. Everything, every milestone is recognised, and it's just amazing. I love it. I absolutely love it. I do feel this is my destiny. This is what I'm meant to do. I know it. I just know it is.
Honestly, I'm
There's
like, like falling and listening to you. I'm like, and honestly, if you're not looking at them, make sure you like go and have a look at the comments, because everybody's totally agreeing with what you said. Like, you do absolutely make people feel special. And Lisa said from experience, and I can totally say from experience as well. Honestly, it's just absolutely amazing. You and your team are totally like backing up everything you've said. So honestly, that's just absolutely, it's just wonderful. Honestly, I'm almost a little bit lost for words, because you can't really put it into words, can you? What
No,
properly what
never.
the has done and can continue to do. So we've just got a couple of left, and I won't keep too much longer, because I don't want to obviously take this on too long. But have you got a funny or inspiring story? Probably a funny one, I imagine. Probably.
I went for the funny one.
Yeah.
There's absolutely hundreds of stories, because I've been really naughty in incentive trips, like loads, but this is actually doing my son, and my team have heard this one before, but I just think everybody needs to hear this story. So when lockdown hit and we were doing obviously like online parties and stuff like that, my wee boy Luke, or aka Johnny, the wee crazy one that I absolutely love. So I tried to do them when the kids were out, so that there was no kind of distractions and they weren't up to no good or anything like that. But this night, Luke burst in the door. So I'm like, I do a live Facebook party. So I'm doing a live Facebook party. I've got my setup up. I'm totally in full swing. And the next minute he walks in, and he walks right up to the table, right? So I'm standing, the phone's here, talking away, and I'm like, oh no, here he comes. Oh my goodness, what's he got to do? So he goes up, right, and he picks up an oil. And he walks up and he puts it right up to the screen, and he says, this is what he says. He says, see this? You can buy this in Poundland. Puts it down and walks straight back in. And I'm like, oh my goodness, did that actually just happen? So honestly, he's been naked. Well, he's had boxer shorts on. And when I do, would you call it, when I do the Facebook parties, I play bingo. So I put music on, I ask them, like, what's your favourite music? So some of them are ABBA, some of them are Elvis, or some of them are GBX. So like your kind of dance tunes. So I do it specifically for that person. So I've been putting music on in the middle of my bingo, and he comes through, honestly, jumps on top of the chair, pants on, dancing, and they love it. The action, I'm like, I'm really, really sorry. I do warn them before I start. Listen, this house, anything could happen. Anything could happen.
Yeah.
He's out tonight, so you're fine. Nothing's got to happen. He's out tonight. But I think it's the kids getting involved. Honestly, I've got so many stories, but I've been naughty, like loads of incentive trips as well. I've been chapped and asked to keep quiet several times because of making so much noise when we're playing games. And everybody knows I like to play spoons. I like to play chicken. So, aye, there's quite a few funny stories, but I just thought I would share my kids and how people accept it though. People accept it.
That's you, and it's your life, and it's authentic. It's being that that authenticity. Anything competitive makes it.
I love to win. I love to win. I'm terrible, and my kids know it as well, because they don't get allowed to win unless they do it off like their own merit. So if we're playing games, whether it be Uno or football or whatever, a dancing competition, sorry, if you win, they know, the kids know, like, I actually beat you, mum, and I'm like, I know, and I'm very upset about that. You're always in my team.
Brilliant. Okay, so before we kind of wrap this up, if you had a team you're starting today, what would be, or for anyone that's starting today, what would be your biggest piece of advice for somebody that was just starting out on their Scentsy journey?
Oh, I think I wrote this one down. What did I say? I know what it is. Right. Your story is basically your prized possession. Okay. Your story is so powerful. And when we do LDU, Leadership Development University, the most powerful part of that full course is when you have the guts to go live and share your story with the world. Okay. And they're not allowed to pass the course unless they do it. And it's kind of like it's like an onion, you peel all the layers off and you get to see what's going on basically underneath. And it's literally a turning point. I always remember Victoria Colby did it, and she went into tears, and she get people joining their team because she connected with her audience and those people that were maybe thinking about it for quite a while. Obviously, I've watched loads and loads of people, but I just always remember like Victoria's just literally just peeling all those layers off and having the guts. She'd never done it before. So it was huge, huge, huge thing for her. So for me, I think your story is your most powerful possession. And it doesn't matter if you don't have this big grand story that you've not been in an incentive trip, or you've no earned annual sales. That doesn't matter. People don't want to know about that. They want to know the wee, like, They want to know the failures. They want to know the bumps along the road. They want to know if you've bought a Chinese, maybe your commission. Do you know what I mean? All these wee things are so important, and that's what I would say. Share, let people in and share, obviously, your story. Share your story with people. It's so, so precious. It is literally, I just seen Lisa saying, it's your superpower. It is your superpower. Nobody does it like you, and that is your superpower. So that's what I would say, like, share your story. If you're looking for something to do today, share your story. Do not be afraid to open up and peel those layers off and tell people, obviously, why you do what you do. Share your passion. Like, honestly, that's what I always do WAM challenges, which is weekly accountability meetings with my team. And I always remember one challenge that I gave them, and a lot of them were really, really surprised, and they were frightened to ask. But I said to them, go on to your customer group and ask why people still buy for you. Why do people buy for you? I says, and see what they say. And some of the responses, like, they're like, oh my goodness, I'm really shocked. But for me, one thing that came across was, Lynsey, I love your passion for the products. I love your passion for your business. So people see that when I do a live video, or I'm sharing something about a fragrance or a warmer or whatever, they see the passion that I have for this business. They see the passion I have for that product. So I would advise, if anybody's not done it, ask your customers, whether it be a survey you do on Survey Monkey, or whether it just be, I just got them to ask on their customer group, and get them to PM you or right underneath it. But it's quite a scary thing to do. Why do you buy for me? Why do you continue to buy for me? And sometimes it'll, there you go. Kirsty says it was one of her favourite WAM challenges. Still do it every now and then. There you go. And it is, it's great. It's scary to ask, but it's interesting to see what people, obviously, why people buy for you. So
I'm literally going to do that. That's amazing.
Go for it.
But it's, do you know what? In the most simplistic form, that is exactly what, authenticity is, because literally your story, my story, everybody, every single person, nobody else has got your story. Like, that is literally all you have. It is nothing. Nobody can copy and paste that. Nobody can, like, that is your story. I'm challenging March Roxas tomorrow. I love it. But it is so powerful, and that's amazing, because nobody can ever take that from the individual, can they?
Absolutely. It's your baby, it's your prized possession, and don't be scared sometimes just to be vulnerable and just share, obviously, like, what your story is. And as I say, you don't have to have this perfect story where this happened to you and all of a sudden, it doesn't have to be like that. It's just your story. Tell people why you still do Scentsy. Tell them that, like, how it's changed your life, or how it's not changed your life, or because sometimes you need to revisit things. Like, see, you ask me why again, like, take me back to that place in Africa, take me back to that place. Sometimes we need to reflect, and obviously SFR is reflection.
Oh my goodness.
Sometimes think about that journey and then unravel it, write it down on a bit of paper, like all the experiences you had, and then when you feel confident and comfortable, share that story with the world. Because it's honestly, it's your superpower. It really, really is.
Oh my God, amazing. Honestly, I could literally listen to you talk all night, but I won't. I promise I won't keep you any longer. But honestly, just thank you so much. Like, I 100% know, whether it's people listening now or people that watch this on replay, this is just going to resonate with so many people. So honestly, I just hugely, hugely appreciate it. Thank you so, so much. Before we go, has anybody got any questions they want to ask Lynsey before we let her depart for the evening?
Can I just say thanks to the 23 people that have stayed the whole time? I love you. Thank you. You've given me an hour and 10 minutes of your time, and I want to say my team, because I know a few of them are on as well. But Laura, thank you to you for asking me. Honestly, I feel so privileged. I really do.
Honestly, it's brilliant. I feel like we're just all together having I am having a cup of tea, but it's like we're all together having a cup of tea. But amazing. I've loved this tonight. Lovely. All right. Thank you so much. Honestly, I will share the recording for anybody that wasn't able to catch it live. Yeah, thank you very much, my love.
Thank you, Laura.
All right, thanks,
enjoy the rest of the day. Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.